Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're gonna use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to israelitebot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Well, shalom, salama, Thiemi, shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. This morning, I'm going to say we're not in the norm of normal mornings. We're not in the area or arena of normalcy and what normalcy looks like. The reality is Do we even know? Would we even know what normal looks like? Or did we just have an experience, a normalcy of what that level of pain or discomfort was at that time that we had the pain threshold of what we were able to tolerate? Now that these pain thresholds are coming up more and more and more, now people are not able to tolerate it as much. However, the pain has always been there. We had just used the psychological gaming and gamification to say, well, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt that bad. It's painful, but it's not as bad. Well, this pain is far more greater than this next level of pain. So now we're seeing these increases ever so sharply, ever so slightly. And the reality is that the pain is being inflicted at a much more higher rate right now because they are going through something painful. See, they're never going to tell you that they're hurting. They're never going to tell you that they're losing. They're never going to tell you any of that. They're going to say everything's the greatest, everything is good, everything is great. We're having talks with Iran, are we? We have a trade deal with China, do we? We have 90 countries that we're going to be making 90 deals with in less than 90 days. Did that happen? You know, the funny thing is that all of these things are going on, and now BRICS hit the US with tariffs. As you now have BRICS nations pushing back. I want to start in on this article right here. Let me put this one here in the chat. Well, and I got to show you this because you know that big bad we're the big bad nation narrative. Well, there's pushback now on that narrative. That's not a good narrative. This is from CNN, updated as of Monday, July 7th. It says here, who is it from? A Alzanea Bacon, John Liu, and Simone McCarthy. And it says here, President Donald Trump has threatened new tariffs on any nation supporting anti-American policies of the BRICS group of emerging nations, as he announced tariff letters would be sent out to scores of countries from Monday ahead of a key deadline. And when it did, the market slid. The market slid when it did. Going down here, it says Brazil is currently hosting a BRICS summit with leaders releasing a joint declaration on Sunday voicing serious concerns about the rise of unilateral tariff and non-tariff measures. An apparent veiled jibe at the Trump's administration's policies. So they're trying to basically bully countries into what is going on in the you better pay up type of situation. Later in this article, it's showing from the BRICS nations, it says, we consistently oppose tariff wars and trade wars, as well as using tariffs as a tool for coercion and pressure. Arbitrarily increasing tariffs does not serve the interest of any party, spokesperson Mao Ning said in response to a question about how China will react if additional tariffs were imposed on it over BRICS. Economists have warned that Trump's trade war, especially the wide-ranging tariffs on Chinese imports, would increase costs for consumers. Some companies, including Walmart, have said they will raise prices for customers despite pushback from Trump. The only people that get injured or hurt on this isn't all these other countries. It is the U.S. that's going to eventually get hurt. All of those Americans that say that this is the greatest thing. They're not supposed to push back. They're supposed to be like black people. Why can't you just be like black people? Stop making us have to do all this stuff so hard. Just be like black people and just roll, lay down, roll over. Trump says he's weighing federal takeover of Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump said his administration is weighing whether to take control of the city of Washington, D.C. to help combat crime in a move that would represent a dramatic upheaval to the capital's half-century of home rule. We could run D.C. I mean, we're looking at D.C., Trump said during a cabinet meeting where he was holding court at length in front of cameras. We're thinking about doing it, to be honest with you. We want a capital that runs flawlessly. What does that mean? A capital that runs flawlessly. Trump said that his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, is in touch with the mayor of Washington, Muriel Bowser. He did not specify what he meant by the White House potentially running the city. So Bowser, a Democrat, has cultivated a close relationship with Trump during his second term, visiting the White House to tout legislative efforts to ensure the city's National Football League franchise can build a new stadium at the site of its former home near Anacostia River and removing the Black Lives Matter Plaza near the White House. Still, Trump has occasionally criticized the city over its crime rate and homeless encampments. Notice crime rates and homeless encampments. We've had a good relationship with the mayor, and we're testing to see if it works, Trump said. So we'll just go down here. Trump made the comment after warning against the prospect of Zohran Mamdani winning the New York mayor's race. Trump said New Yorkers should not vote for Mamdani in November, calling him a communist. So basically, you already know that people are then going to do the opposite. So he's literally giving him publicity and went so far as vaguely suggesting interest in exerting some federal influence on the city. He's stating this: if a communist gets elected to run New York, it can never be the same, but we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. So now you're starting to see how they're trying to kind of do this divide and conquer. And yes, this is that Jackson, Mississippi moment. And now you can over criminalize, which is what they've done for years. So we're not saying anything that has not already been provided for, and primary data and empirical evidence and secondary evidence, you name it. To now come through and to have a send off party of sorts. Got to get the undesirables out. Well, they're going to go out. Where are they going to go to? You already know. To that Alcatraz here in South Florida. And people are showing their disdain. You're having a lot of comments on X. Let me share this. AHRC, USA NGO. It says here that they're an organization dedicated to protecting, promoting, and defending human rights as defined by the U.S. Constitution and the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Well, that's a good thing, but the U.S. isn't in the Human Rights Party. They're not a party to that in the UN. They removed themselves. They've removed themselves from that a while ago. Trump's Alligator Alley reveals the ongoing cruelty towards migrants in U.S., and that's according to The Guardian. Other folks are stating these people are being held indefinitely without seeing a judge. So theoretically, you get picked up and taken to Alligator Alley. Yeah, that's no theoretically. That's what's happening. Or excuse me, Alligator Alcatraz, because they think you're illegal. How do you prove you're not illegal? This is the important question. I will wait. Oh, I need to highlight that. I need to highlight that. These people are being held indefinitely without seeing a judge. So theoretically, you get picked up and taken to Alligator Alcatraz because they think you're illegal. How do you prove you're not illegal? This is the important question I'll wait. Well, Bobby Digital, I believe that Black folks have been going through this for decades. Oh, yeah. In Jackson, Mississippi, they basically allowed for segregation. Here's the thing. Wait a second. Isn't this all the stuff that we were complaining about 6, 7, 8 years ago? Isn't this what we have always been complaining about? Hey, just getting pulled over to what? To get pulled over? You look like a suspicious person? And we always said, be careful that you're laughing, because why? Because it's going to happen to you. Judge lest ye what? Be judged. We've been saying this here in the black community. They pull you over because you look like a criminal. You look like what? A black person. You look like you're not an American. Well, what's an American look like? Well, an American looks like an American, and you can see the movies of what Americans look like. Okay. I could see a movie. Which movie would you like me to see? Well, Americans look like the Americans on Saving Private Ryan. Americans look like Chuck Norris. Americans look like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's not American, but you know what I mean. Sir, what you have just described is all Caucasian people. Well, if that's what you want to say, I didn't say it. You're the one that said it. And you realize that hyperbolic, those types of, straw mans and all other, those Hegelian dialects, those old thought exercises, those frameworks, they're not hitting like they used to. Yeah. That was the Civil. What type of an American are you? And that was from the Civil War movie, 2024. They were really giving you the idea of what was getting ready to happen, but they weren't giving you the mechanics of how it was going to happen, because obviously they didn't want to do that during a presidential election and things of that nature. Because now all of the mainstream media, they're running scared because they think that any type of criticism will now lead to lawsuits. Lawfare, didn't we see that all before lawfare? This is just literally, this is the lockdown happening. This is the narrative unfolding, and we're seeing it in front of our eyes. The next thing is when YouTube channels disappear, when content creators get sued for billions of dollars, something very egregious, and then they get shut down. Now you don't have any dissenting voices. Now you don't have any other opinions or thoughts. See, in order for the quote unquote concentration camps to occur, there has to be a simultaneous destruction of media that would cause folks to be thinking about the situation that they're going through. See, the reality is this: nobody's going to question a nation that is helping to engage, helping another nation engage and genocide. But when you know that this nation is going to be judged, do you think that these nations are going to telegraph when they're going to judge this nation? No, it's not going to happen. So everybody's going to play nice. Everybody's going to act like everything's okay. And then that's when the beatdown comes. Because I believe that that's getting ready to happen. People try to say, oh, you know, she wasn't at BRICS and Putin wasn't at BRICS. But see, yes, Tamara, that's what they always do. I'm not genociding, you're genociding. Like, get out of here. I believe that they just have to play the game because of who they're dealing with. We've seen this before. We're just shaking our heads like, yeah, when it goes down, it's going to go down very, very, very badly. Very bad. It's going to be horrible. Badly, for lack of using Trump's words, for lack of better terms. This is going to be a very horrible and gut-wrenching impact. But we've done that before. We've gone through that before. We've understood that. This is why I've never seen so many of our people in social media just saying, you know what? Stay away. Open the gap. Open the space. Far, far away. And the reality is that now we can't help them at this point. Because at this point, I think at least 95% of our people know that they're screwing up. And that they've screwed up. See, our people do have a knack for understanding when a butt whooping is coming. Why did you move away? Yeah, I could just feel that somebody was about to get swung on. When I was teaching, I was looking at that and observing that firsthand. You would just see folks just whoosh. Next thing you know, the kids would just be fighting and swinging on each other. And you know who would actually be the ones to get away from it quicker? Black folks. It was the black kids. It was our young Hebrew men and women that were understanding. Nah, give them space, give them room. Because why? Because I'm not trying to get caught up in the melee. To me, I would argue that this is the most dangerous time in history for them because we're realizing the melee's coming. You know what I'm saying? Like something's about to pop off. I don't know when. I don't know how. Don't even ask me about them questions. All I know is when people start swinging, I'm not trying to be in there to catch a fist. That's not and that's not an intended target for me. Nah, we tend to know when trouble's coming. I think most of us do, and there are a lot of our hard-headed folks. Even the hard-headed folks are like, yeah, I know something's coming. I may stick around, and those are the ones that usually always get in trouble or they get caught up into the nonsense. But this go around, you can't be hard-headed in this. This go around, you actually have to, realize that you get caught up. Well, there's a nice place off of US 41 in Okeechobee, Florida. Right down the street from me. Give or take 3 hours. Remember, a lot of people don't know that the transatlantic slave trade had started because we were deemed illegal. By whom? By the Pope. Let's do a little bit of a thought exercise on this one. For those that leadeth into captivity shall what? Go into captivity? Remember all the reconciliations and everything else that the Pope was trying to implement? Benedict was trying to implement the last time. Now it's Leo. To set things straight, to make things right from their participation in the transatlantic slave trade. They know why. They know what they did. But they weren't going to say, sorry that what we said in 1452, the Dum Diversus, which led to the Spanish Inquisition, which led to the transatlantic slave trade, sorry, we're going to make it right. My thought process is this: is this now the results of this? Is this now what is happening? We'll see how that recompense goes. But first of all, it's a reduction in the power of the hand of the captors. It's a reduction in the hand that's holding us steadfast. My thought process has been this: when this place is basically buckled and crumbled because of internal isms, which is beginning right now. It's the beginning of these internal issues. That's what's happening. It's not the question of if people are going to up and turn and everything else. Oh, they will. They will. Because what they're going to get sick and tired of is the fact that we've stuck to our guns, per se, and we did not fall for the okie-doke. We've continued to do what? To widen the gap. Now I'm over here. I'm not going to get caught up in any of your mess. Sorry. I'm not going to get caught up in any of your nonsense. Sorry. And you could see that they have issues because now part of their Medicaid bill, and I was watching this on Jesse Dolomore. Jacobus had him on a couple times. Jesse Dolomore. And it's a Caucasian gentleman. And he was basically telling it as it is. And I'll give them kudos for telling the truth. Do they all tell the truth? Absolutely not. Do you want to know how much of a psychological disruption that is for them to tell the truth? You think it was hard for us to wake up? Woo! This is the times of the Gentile awakenings, and guess what? They're literally basically crickets. One or two, a handful of people on TikTok, everybody else is crickets. And you want to know what they did? They're waking up to everlasting shame and contempt. Shame and contempt. That's what they're waking up to. They don't care. But when they get judged, then they're going to be saying, help me. Help you now? Help you now. You weren't singing that song a few years ago. You weren't singing that song a few months ago. I messed up with my vote. I thought that John that let me paraphrase this so you actually get the full translation, the real translation of this. I thought that I could be racist and bigoted and that wouldn't financially affect me. I thought that my racism and my hatred and my vanity would not financially affect me. Well, literally, you see that with the bond and the bond markets. Nobody's buying American bonds. Do you know what that means? Nobody's buying America's bullcrap. Would say the other word for dramatic effect, but this is a family channel. And I try to not curse like that. So now white people are seeing that other nations are not wanting to engage in their conduct. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to do business with the United States. Don't I say it on NeoDiplomacy? Do you not see that? I said that over 9 months ago. Had a class September 22nd, 2024. Since Ishar and I had hosted the Art of Diplomacy. See, working and doing and looking and moving and understanding. You don't have to like me. I'm not here to be a likable person. I'm not. I'll talk to you. I'll crack jokes just because I like people. But I'm not here to be liked by you. That's not my job. I'm here to hopefully talk to you, to give you some training and some understanding so that maybe, just maybe, you'll learn something that will enhance your life. Because maybe, just a little bit of knowledge and understanding that you may glean from me, that you may not have had in your toolkit. Our people hate on each other just to hate on each other. It don't matter. That's how our people are. But now they don't have that luxury anymore. See what happens when white supremacy dissipates, especially in the Black community, African American community, Hebrew community. They're going to get mad to what? To run back to them? Go ahead, run back. They say, sure, we need another occupant in Alligator Alley or Alcatraz. And because you're going to be there, quote unquote, illegally, because you're going to be there, quote unquote, indefinitely, you'll be lucky to be exported to a farm for an overseer. My man literally said overseer. I'm not going to play that clip. I think you've seen it. I'll try to find that Jesse Dollamore clip. My son was over. We were watching that together last night. I said, this can't be real. I said, this can't be real. Sure enough, that thing was real. My son had looked at me and he said, Dad, this is crazy. I said, yeah, it is. But people are going to say something or do something and it's going to be way too late. Too late for them. Too late for them and really our hard-headed people, our hard-headed brothers and sisters. And we do. But I say that because I love our brothers and sisters, because I know that I was a hard-headed one too. But the moment that they start knocking on our doors saying, hey, this is now September 3rd, you didn't get the message, did you? We were talking about Haitians, quote unquote Haitians. And then they're going to be trying to talk to you in French. I don't know what you're saying. I speak English, and they're going to try and talk to you in French. We've seen this before. You've seen this narrative before. You've seen this play before. It's not even funny anymore when you literally can say play by play, that's what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Because when you caught, guess what? Who's going to track you down? Who's going to even be able to look out for your own interest? Well, I know somebody's on out there that's going to be able to save me and help me and save me and help me and save me. Who's out there? Now it kind of makes you wonder why Ibrahim Traore gave a warning to Donald Trump not to harm us. Maybe, just maybe, shout out to the Burkina Faso embassy here in the United States. Shout out to those folks. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, shout out to them. Because understand that when Ibrahim Traore speaks, guess what? People listen. Not just some people, a whole continent listens. A whole continent listens. And you actually had somebody on the continent speak on our behalf months before their plan was enacted, because people were understanding the plan. And the plan is now too blatant. It's too obvious. See, when they don't even care about what they're doing and how they're doing it, it's all over. Because they don't care. I believe, this is my personal opinion, I believe, like I had said a while ago, when you had the Secretary of Agriculture talking about the farm relief or the potential farm relief. Let me put this on out here, because this is the picture that I have in the thumbnail, because I don't think people truly understand this. I know that what I say can seem sometimes outlandish. I know that what I say seems very ridiculous, but now when you have white YouTubers literally understanding the same exact thing, they're not hiding it. The purpose of this was to ensure that white YouTubers were not saying anything about this. Because if it came from them, they're no longer able to hide. That's Brooke Rollins. Agriculture Secretary says able-bodied Medicare recipients should replace immigrant farm workforce. What's the definition of able-bodied? You know, the thing is that we were quote unquote able-bodied even if we were missing hands and feet, legs, arms. Well, you still have one good arm. You can still pick some cotton. You still have one good foot. You can still dangle on that crutch and move some bales of hay. See, now you're just seeing the insufferable cruelty that our ancestors had to go through. See, the way that the Most High works is you have to see everything. You have to. Because why? Because he has to show you everything. You have to see all of Egypt. You have to see all of the house of bondage. You have to see all of the heart of Pharaoh be exposed. They're exposing their hearts, not just to us, but to the whole world. Smile, you're on candid camera. But they have no shame. They're not even smiling. It's the truth. USDA secretary says there's no amnesty from mass deportations for farm labor, but that enforcement should be strategic. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins said millions of adult Medicaid participants who will face stricter work requirements under the GOP mega bill should replace foreign farm workers deported under the Trump administration's immigration policies. There will be no amnesty, Rollins said on Tuesday during an event at USDA headquarters highlighting the administration's efforts to strengthen farm and national security policy. The mass deportations continue, but in a strategic way. And we move the workforce towards automation and 100% American participation. With 34 million people, able-bodied adults on Medicaid, we should be able to do that fairly quickly. I wonder if my dad, who was suffering from dementia, who has had half of his foot taken away, cut away, is he considered an able-bodied American? What is an able-bodied American? What does the scripture say? Look, this place has no regard, no love for the young or old. Woo! Oh man, I think America's telling on itself. Because why? Because the Most High has to show us every single thing that this nation is going to do. Because why? It has to fulfill all the check marks to move into its final judgment. Look, not only do we know that it's what the word states, but it's going to fulfill this check mark, this check mark, this check mark, this check mark. There is a tally. Why? Their sins have what? Have made it into heaven. Because why? Because there's a tally. Yeah, no, we were. We were. We were picking cotton in the 60s and 70s. We were picking fruit back in the 50s and 60s. We were the migrant workers. We were the seasonal workers. With 34 million people, able-bodied adults on Medicaid, we should be able to do that fairly quickly, she added. Referencing Medicaid participants currently in the program who don't yet meet the reconciliation package's new work requirements. The reconciliation packages. Okay. When will that quote unquote reconciliation package be made? See, they got rid of too many people too fast. They disrupted the flow. And they got their people that they had been getting and feeding, that this was the American dream, that you're going to do this, you're going to work hard, and that your children will have the opportunity to be somebody. You have to sacrifice, and then the next generation will eat the fruit of the American dream while black folks continue to be at the bottom. That is the comparative advantage. Don't worry about the black people. You're going to get above and beyond. Do not worry. Now, H-1B visa holders are now taking away jobs from these white kids that are coming from college, where they were supposed to have the traditional role of some sort of mid-management, early trainees, management supervisory trainees, and they can't get jobs because H-1B visas had exploded. That's what they always do. It's always a what? It's a work camp. That was a classic case of what happened in Germany in World War II. But we're not at war. We're not at war. No, we're not at war. Don't worry about what the US just did to Iran. That was 3 weeks ago. We're not at war. War schmore. We want to know why we're not at war? Because we didn't tell you that we're at war. That was just a little bit of a U.S. activity to ensure peace and stability in the Middle East. Okay. All right. And their people eat it up hook, line, and sinker because why? Because it's their people. See, if you are saying now to them that guess what? Your dollar is going to be worthless and people aren't going to be coming here anymore because it's not going to be worthless. Oh, wait a second. You mean that in these BRICS affiliated nations? You mean that in Mexico, and you mean that in other places? You mean that they're going to have a better currency, a better value, a better trade surplus? You mean that they're going to have better goods and services and other products? Y'all don't even realize the US is actually being cut off from the rest of the world. Yeah, there may be some products here and there, but to me, my personal opinion is the reason that you didn't see She there, all the rumors are swirling, and I guarantee you they probably did at least 6 or 7 scenarios of the psychological operations, how they're going to conduct it. You see psyops occurring. She has this, she has that, she has cancer, she has dementia, she has a stroke, she has a party issue, she has, marital issues, she has conflicts. To create what? Confusion. Because while people are speculating and confusing, oh, they're never going to take over Taiwan. That won't happen. My opinion is Iran has always been that linchpin. So don't get it twisted with what's happening in Russia and China and things of that nature. Don't get that twisted. Iran has always been the quote unquote linchpin. Iran is there to be and to take the initial blows. I believe Iran is there to be that initial blow for any type of nuclear weapons. And I would say nuclear weapons impacts. Nuclear weapons impacts from the West, particularly from the United States and that Eastern Mediterranean nation. But if the deal, I'm just speculating here, if the deal is we take the hit, as in Iran, Iran says we take the hit, but we have assurances that you're going to build us up and we'll be built up bigger and stronger and all this other stuff. We'll be a pivotal nation in Khazaria 2.0. We'll be that pivotal nation within the Belt and Road project. We'll be able to get to connect things within the Central Asian states, China, Russia, the steppes. Will be pivotal in terms of worldwide shipments, logistics, capabilities, you name it. Okay. I'm sure that's probably what it was. Is okay, sounds good. My question is when did they really formulate that plan? When was the plan formulated? The world may never know. I would like to know when that plan was formulated. That will all be in the history books, I'm sure, in the next 20, 30 years when, when people win the war and then afterwards, then they give you a nice curated account of how things had gone and how they were able to successfully take on an empire headed by the United States, and that they had to be crafty in their statesmanship and how they had to utilize their, engagements and political efforts to go from here to there without the ire of the West, particularly the United States. They're well crafted as like this is the greatest overthrow of an empire. And look how quickly we were able to reconstitute the world, so they think. They're trying to do their history and military history channels. This is what they will try to do and say. I believe that too, Ivan. I believe that too. Ivan states that, and they will boast had they had to free the blacks from oppression because they wouldn't give repair. They wouldn't give us reparations. After the elections, after all this stuff went down, black people wanted to separate. That is a national security concern. Black people wanted to separate. Are they actually done with America? What? Are they actually saying that Georgia's done and they just want to be left alone? Even their most severely mentally stricken, oppressed, that stay hooked to the rule of white supremacy, are you saying that they said that they're done? Those that look all sorts of extra crazy because they're showing you how tied into the system they are, physically and spiritually, in the Babylonian system, they're saying, nah, I'm done. What are we doing, man? I'm holding on to my money because why? I don't know what's happening. I'm not going to engage in any of their social constructs because why? I don't know what's happening. I'm just going to sit here and chill for a little bit. Because why? Because I don't know what's happening. That regular stuff, the regularity, that regular stuff. Excuse me. What I used to be comfortable in, I can no longer be comfortable in. But that's going to be a serious matter here in less than 90 days. That's even for me. How am I going to navigate here? Y'all see my face? Voulez-vous voulez? Aujourd'hui, comment allez-vous? Ça va? Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Ice agents roll up on me. Time to take you back to Port-au-Prince. What? Porter, what? You got to go back home. How many Haitians were we talking about? 500,000. Better make it 50 million. We got to do that 100 times factor so we can get a 100% right. You see how the math? You see how the math? You see how they mathing? We gonna meet that quota. No wonder they need trillions of dollars. A detention center with an airport, with an airstrip. I bet you John Leguizamo isn't talking smack on the black community no mo. You know all the people that used to just, diss black folks. Yeah, Fat Joe and, John Leguizamo and all these other, Hispanic folks that were just putting us on blast like 2 years ago. And it's like sit back. The Most High's got something for them. Sit back, wait, chill, sit back. Most High's got it. Most High always gets the last laugh. We need black unity. Remember, y'all weren't saying that a couple years ago. Y'all were saying that y'all were way better than us. Y'all were saying that you did your thing. You already had that. And then guess what? Then they went limp. They went limp. We need black people's help. When black people stand up for us, black people. We said In the words of Lenny Kravitz, I want to get away. I want to fly away from you. From you. From you. Don't come over here with that mess. It's a blessing in disguise to be deported or self-deport before the impending judgments. I don't know what to think about that statement. I think the only blessing that I could see in that statement is that, yeah, I'll be deported or self-deport. I'll self-deport if you pay me my reparations. I don't know about that. I don't know about that statement. I'm kind of looking at it as that's a little suspect to me. Because here's the thing, black folks, we know we gonna survive, and we know we gonna survive. And you know we gonna be surviving, telling them, hey, when this is over with, y'all better have my reparations. The judgments aren't for us. Yes, we will be seeing them judged. Yes, we may even be a little touched by certain judgment, but we're not going to be all the way judged. The Most High has the righteous. We're coming out of here in stages. Now, how has Trump always worked? Shock in all phases. It's always a shock, and then it's a little bit of an awe, and then a little bit of a shock, a little bit of an awe. What we're going to do, Terrence is going to start, today? Now we're going to push it to August. Now we're going to push it. Now we're going to push it. Because why? Because it's to be able to get people psychologically conditioned. You have to psychologically condition a nation to accept what? Any type of genocidal actions or other inhumane conditions. That's their playbook. Not my playbook. That's their playbook. I'm going to have to get off here in a few minutes because I told you all earlier this week, I have a very busy week. And I asked you all for your prayers because the struggle is real. The struggle is real. But the struggle is real because the Most High is literally opening doors. real time. What we're going through, guess what? It's not just something that's being placed on our hearts in this community. It's actually way beyond our community. Hallelujah. It's way beyond our community. We just vocalize it more. Because why? Because we're just fearless with the word. Okay. Yeah, we see what's happening. I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to panic. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father. I'm going to talk. Well, no, I'm going to continue to talk. Because the Most High takes care of and protects what? His servants, his people, those that call on his name. I'm not going to, shh. Now, certain strategies I have to be mum on. These Negroes over there, these Negroes are doing something massa. You need to talk, you need to send them Negroes away so we can get our butter biscuits back. I don't care how soggy they are in this swamp. I don't care how much sand done got into the biscuit batter. I love these butter biscuits. Can we get some of the General's fried chicken too? I love me some butter biscuits with that golden, crusty, crispy General's. Ooh, so finger licking. But yeah, family, I do have to get off here right now. With that said, please sign up for Law for Love. It is in the community post, July 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's on the Covenant Awakenings community post, July 20th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The event is free. For those that would like to sign up for NeoDiplomacy.com, please do so. A lot of things are moving in the background. I am needing help. I need to train people to do what I do. So you can find out more details at neodiplomacy.com. That's for the Diplomatic Corps Cohort, the next one coming up in September. So I'm extending that summer rate for September. Or, excuse me, the summer rate for the September class that's starting. I'm extending that. I'll extend it only for a few more days. And Most High willing, hey, it is what it is. That's it. Again, family, please keep me up in your prayers in these endeavors, in these times. And with that said, Most High willing, I will be back on tomorrow. And with that, you all be blessed and encouraged, because the Most High is still an awesome Elohim that is looking down on his people. His face is shining on his people. It's not looking down like that, but looking down because his face is on his people. And he's looking down from his throne because he sees us again. We're shining like the firmament. We're shining as bright as the stars. All we have to do literally is trust him, because we are his people. We are the apple of his eye. So be highly encouraged that you have an awesome Father who does sit high and looks low because he has everything under control. Hallelujah. So with that said, I gotta get up on out of here. Again, you all be blessed, and most high willing, I'll see you all tomorrow. And with that said, shalom, salama, siemi, shalawam, peace and blessings, Yasharel.